नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So in text 54, Arjun had asked 4 questions. So what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? Means what's his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? So Krishna answered in 3 verses about the symptoms of the person who is self-realized. And now, how does he sit? Yada samharate chayam kurmu angani sarvasha indriyani indriyarthe abhyas tasya pragya pratisthita. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as a tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So, Krishna has given the example of a turtle or a tortoise here. Prabhupada is writing, the test of a yogi, devotee, or self-realized soul is that he is able to control the senses according to his plan. Most people, however, are servants of the senses and are thus directed by the dictation of the senses. That is the answer of the question as to how the yogi is situated. And the senses, how the senses are described, the senses are compared to venomous serpents. They want to act very loosely and without restriction. The yogi or the devotee must be very strong to control the serpents, like a snake charmer. He never allows them to act independently. So there are many injunctions in the revealed scriptures. Some of them are do nots and some of them are do's. Unless one is able to follow the do's and the do nots, restricting oneself from sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. So a yogi or a self-realized soul must be able to control his senses. When the senses are not being used, should be controlling his senses. And Prabhupada giving an example of senses are compared to venomous serpents. So serpent means where they go here and there. It's very difficult to just capture them and hold them in one place. Just like we have a wonderful senses of Pucci here, it's very difficult to control him today. But senses are like that. And in fact, senses are sometimes compared to like a person. If a man has 10 wives, five working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So if he has 10 wives and he comes home and all the 10 wives simultaneously, they start telling him, okay, do this for me, come with me to the mall, and somebody says, come with me to the movie, or somebody says, do this for me, do that for me, all the 10 at the same time. What will happen to the man? He'll go crazy. But this is something happens with all of us. So senses, all the 10 senses, and 11th one is the mind, keep on bombarding us with different desires. Eye says, I want to see something beautiful. Mouth says, I want to eat something tasty. Ears say, I want to hear something nice. They keep on bombarding. So these are the senses, uncontrolled senses. So mind is supposed to control, and above the mind is intelligence, which is supposed to control mind and the senses. But many times mind takes over the intelligence. So the idea is to make the intelligence so strong. So idea is to make the intelligence stronger so that we can control the mind. And Prabhupada is writing in the purport, and this is the example Krishna is giving. The tortoise can at any moment wind up its senses and exhibit them again at any time for particular purposes. Similarly, the senses of the Krishna conscious persons are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and are withdrawn otherwise. Keeping the senses always in the service of the Lord is the example set by the analogy of the tortoise who keeps the senses within. So idea is to keep the senses engaged in the service of the Lord. But it is easier said than done. It is very, very difficult. It's not easy. Because our senses from so many lifetimes, they have been like going haywire. It's very, very difficult. Even the senses, the yogis, what they do? They go to the Himalayas or the forest and they try to control the mind, control the senses, that I'll not see something beautiful, so I can control that sense. I'll not hear something, I'll control that. So they try to control and engage, keep the senses within, not letting here or there, do lots of austerities. But still, it's very, very difficult because the desire is still there inside. Even if we forcibly try to control, the desire is there. Some impression is there, some sanskar is there. Very difficult to control. Of course, in the next verse, Krishna gives the right way of controlling, but even after that, it's very difficult. That's why in one of the books by Satswarup Maharaj, he writes how to control the mind. Basically, mind is controlled, senses will get controlled. It's not a big deal. So he gave the example of controlling a horse. When somebody who's a good rider, horse rider, he tries to control the horse, but how he does? He doesn't just keep the lagam tight all the time. Sometimes he lets it loose, sometimes he tightens it. Sometimes loose, sometimes tightens it up. Sometimes controls it properly. Then after a while, the horse understands, this is how I'm going to run. And if I am on the track, then the master sitting on my back, he will let me run properly. He will not just control that rein so far, so strongly. So similarly with our mind. And also, I think in Guru Granth Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev also says that you should not tighten the strings of veena so tight that it breaks, and should not let them loose so that no sound comes out. Enough. Make sure they are tight enough. Not too tight, not too loose. So same thing, it's basically for telling us for the mind, how to control the mind, is we should not make it too tight, we become too rigid with our senses, because then one day the senses will retaliate. It's definitely going to happen because we are not at that level yet. And if we let them loose, then no sound will come out. So everybody's case will be different. And we cannot say, oh, that person can sit and chant for 32 rounds or 64 rounds. I can also do that. Well, it's good for getting source of inspiration, but we cannot imitate others. Just like one disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada was in Mayapur, and he came to meet Prabhupada in Mayapur. And he said, Prabhupada, I just want to sit and chant. Now somebody will say, oh, what was wrong with that? He wanted to sit and chant. But Prabhupada said, no, just chant 16 rounds, what I've recommended, and do some service. No, Prabhupada, I want to just chant. Because ultimately, this is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chant. Prabhupada again told him, no, don't do that. Do 16 rounds, chant 16 rounds, and do some service. No, I want to sit and chant. What to do? Prabhupada said, okay. So he made a hut for himself, and he was chanting 64 rounds every day. He was just sitting the whole day and chanting. And all the devotees around him, they were getting very impressed. See how he is chanting. And they were getting kind of jealous also. He is just chanting. We have to do all these kind of services. Prabhupada said, just keep on doing your services and let him chant. So he chanted for a while, but after that, he just left. One day he picked up, got up, and left. He left Mayapur, left India, and he was from Australia. He went back to Australia. Because we cannot imitate. We cannot imitate like Haridas Thakur, who was chanting 192 rounds every day. Once in a while you do that, it's okay. But every day we cannot do that. So we have to understand our limitations, we have to set our parameters, and we have to work accordingly. Let it grow gradually. Of course, it's not a good idea, but if somebody is addicted or not addicted, somebody is used to, somebody like watching movies. It's in recording, and I can say that. When I joined ISKCON, I used to love movies. I used to watch so many movies. But then I had joined ISKCON. Now what to do? It was a big dilemma. So I would go to movie theater with my friends with the bead bag in the hand. I used to do that. And I did that. And they used to tell me, what is this? Come on, either watch movie or chant. Why are you mixing the two? I said, no, I have to chant, but I cannot leave the movie either. So that was very offensive chanting that I will not recommend it to anybody. But this is how I used to do. So I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to watch movie, it's okay. Go chant and watch movie, whatever. See, the taste of bhakti, let it develop gradually. And once it develops, automatically the other taste will go away. It will happen without even our knowledge. So we should take inspiration from advanced devotees, but we cannot imitate them. We can never imitate them. There's no way. And our senses, our sanskaras, our desires, everything is there inside us. And they are there for long time. Many years, many lifetimes they are there. All of a sudden, if we think it will come out, I'll become a pure devotee just because I have chanted or I've taken initiation. In one day it will happen, it's not going to happen. So let it grow organically, gradually. It's very important. We are not in competition with anybody. We have no competition with anybody. We have to set our own pace, how we can make progress. So no problem, let it grow slowly. That's okay. And many times, or I would say most of the times, it happens, one person in the family wants to be devotee, rest of the family is not at the same level, or they have no inclination towards it. But that's okay. We cannot force anybody. Every soul is making advancement at its own pace. They have their own stage they have achieved. So it's okay. Every soul is different. Every soul has its own set of standard or consciousness stage. So it's okay. So we can inspire others. We can try to teach others, but we cannot force anybody. Just like if anybody tries to force me, I will not like it. So if I try to force somebody, I'm pretty sure he or she will not like it either. So let's try to set an example. Just like Radha Prabhu quotes me very many times, and I've heard this from, it was a very old saying by one of the priests of a church. And he said, one should preach every day. And if required, he should speak a little. Means preach by his own example. So that should be the standard. So we have to preach. Obviously, Mahaprabhu's instructions are there. We have to preach, but we have to see how to preach, and should not force anybody. And senses, very, very, very difficult to control. But that doesn't mean we cannot control them. Soul is more powerful than anything else. Soul is the most powerful element in this body. It's part and parcel of Krishna. But we have to see our limitations also. So try to strike a balance. Then we'll not regret. Then we will not be frustrated either later on. The next verse, Krishna says, Vishyavini vartante niraharasya dehina rasvarjam raso apyasya param drishtva nivartate. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. See, Krishna himself says, the taste for that sense object remains, even though we don't try to engage the senses actively in that respect. But the taste, the desire to enjoy that sense object will be there. So what's the remedy? By giving a higher taste to that sense, gradually the inclination to taste a lower objects, it will go away. But it will happen gradually. It will not happen in a day. For some people, it can happen because everybody's level of advancement is different. But like Krishna also, Krishna himself says, the taste for sense objects remains. Very difficult to give it up. Very difficult. Even if we try to give the higher taste, mind and the senses will go towards a lower taste. But there's nothing to be feel ashamed of or nothing to be feel guilty of. It's not a competition with anybody else. We're not in competition with anybody in this world. We are trying to make advancement ourselves. That's all. And we've been in this material world since times immemorial. So many lifetimes we've been here. So many species we have been through. So many lifetimes we've been here. Okay, who got away? Okay. So the taste, sanskars and the consciousness are there from so many lifetimes. So many experiences we have had in so many lifetimes. All the impressions are there. All of a sudden, it's not going to come out. So we should not feel guilty of or ashamed of if we did something that is not exactly according to the norms. Okay, we are struggling. Everybody is struggling. Everybody. Prabhupada has given wonderful principles we should follow. Like one of our Maharajas, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, he said in one of his lectures, especially for Grihasthas, our classes for Grihasthas only, he said the Grihastha life is like Akanksha, your phone mic is on. I'll mute you, but try to stay muted. Okay, he said Grihastha life is like a passenger train to Golok Vrindavan. Brahmachari life, sannyas life is like express train. Of course, in their lives, there is nothing except bhakti, service, study of scriptures, chanting, whole day. Grihastha life, people have to do so many other things. So it's like a passenger train. But what's the advantage? Passenger train, if you're going, even if you fall down, you can again run up and catch up and get on the train. Well, express train, If you fall down, if you get off the train is gone. You can only get up on the Grasa train. You can only take the Grasa train afterwards. So yes, it's a slow train, no doubt. But you sit, everybody who sits on the train will definitely reach Golok Vrindavan. Again, we are not in competition. And there have been wonderful grihastas who are exemplary grihastas. Just like Prabhuji's Guru Maharaj, Sankarshan Prabhu and his wife. Wonderful example. But we cannot compare. We should take inspiration. We should idealize wonderful devotees and continue with our process. Take on the process. That's all. And one more thing is, especially in this Kali Yuga, because we've been reading the wonderful qualities of Kali Yuga in Srimad Bhagavatam. But the most wonderful quality of Kali Yuga, it comes in 11th canto, where it says, but if you take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then, and Harinam, everything is over, taken care of. And Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. He has come to deliver the most fallen. So we are the most fallen. Only thing is, we have to admit we are most fallen, and we should with really intense greed, intense desire to get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we should pray to him. Or more than Mahaprabhu, we should pray to Lord Nityananda. He is more merciful actually. And more than Lord Nityananda is Srila Prabhupada. He is most merciful. We pray to him. Prabhupada, I cannot do this properly. I cannot chant properly. I cannot read properly. I cannot preach properly. I cannot do this. I still have desires. Prabhupada will help. So the real process of making progress in bhakti is to pray. Pray, pray, pray. Cry. Just like Prabhupada also says, cry. Cry for Krishna. So, some devotee asks, what if I can't cry for Krishna? Then you cry that you cannot cry for Krishna. Cry that I cannot chant properly. Okay, I cannot chant, I cannot even cry for chanting. Oh, cry that I cannot cry for chanting properly. The desire has to be there. Prabhupada will help, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will help, Nityananda Prabhu will help. But at the same time, we try to take up the process seriously. That's all. If we were all perfectly following everything that Prabhupada has given, then we won't be sitting here. We would be in Golok Vrindavan by now. We won't be here. The very fact we are here, we have many things we are lacking. Of course, then we have to fix those. We have to try and cry, and that's all we can do. So even though the higher taste is there in Krishna consciousness, the highest taste is there. But since our senses are blunt, since our inclinations, desires are still there, we cannot taste the highest taste, given in bhakti. But that's okay. There's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be, oh, I'm not qualified. Okay, that's why Prabhupada came, no, for all of us, because we were not qualified. We still keep on following, keep on following, keep on following. That's all. Like somebody once told me, I won't tell the name, oh, Prabhuji, I went to Mussoorie just for a trip, and the other devotees, they started making fun. Oh, why went to Mussoorie? You should have gone to Mayapur or Vrindavan or Dwarka. Well, there's nothing wrong in Mussoorie. If there is some obligation, or even if the desire is there, go to the hill station, just go. No? What's a big deal? It's not like whole day or whole year they'll be sitting in Missouri. No. What's a big deal? It's not a crime that a person commits by going to Missouri. That part we forget. It's not a crime. What is the crime in it? Even if one has a desire to go watch a movie, come back and chat. What's a big deal? What's a big deal? We cannot compete or imitate anybody else. There's no way. Slowly, slowly, if the taste of chanting comes in, then we'll give up this taste automatically. Nobody will even ask us. There's nothing wrong. Just what is wrong is in us actually, to see it differently. And moreover, like attachment and detachment, they're basically, if you study psychology, they're the two sides of the same coin. More we talk about I am detached or a perversion or this is wrong, actually we get attached to it. Yeah. If we keep on saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, actually we get attached to it. Mind goes towards that. And then the sanskar becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. And one day we will go towards that one. So idea is to give higher taste, not to dwell on the lower taste. Idea is that we have to become Krishna conscious, not Anartha conscious or some other conscious. That's not the idea. Idea is to become Krishna conscious. So we have to see how we make progress. Everybody is on at a different stage, at a different pace they were going towards. That's all. So we choose our pace which is suitable for us, then we'll make progress very easily, and then it will be very fast progress actually, instead of competition or instead of imitation. Prabhupada writes, unless one is transcendently situated, it's not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. This is the opening line of the purport. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the manner of Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharan, Dhyan, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. But the question is, Prabhupada, one who has tasted the beauty of Lord Krishna in the course of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Now the $1 million question. Suppose somebody is in the movement for the last 10 years. Suppose. So every day, how much prasad we eat. Even if somebody is living in the temple. Actually, I had given this example in the temple only. So somebody living in the temple for the last 10 years, every day he eats what? 2 kgs of prasad? 1 kg of prasad? 1.5 kg? Well, 1.5 kg, it will be difficult to do the calculations. You all are. So let's go fasting. So 350 kg, if we take 1 kg every day. Of course, in temple, they eat much more than 1 kg. I know that. So 10 years, 3,500 kgs of prashadam has been processed through his body. What about Charnamrit? Scripture says 3 drops of Charnamrit are enough, right? How much Charnamrit we drink? Especially on the day of Abhishek. We fill up the bottles, right? Ramnami day. We fill up bottles of Charnamrit and drink it up, really drink it up. How many gallons of Charnamrit we have had? How much money you spent in going to all the yatras, to Vrindavan, to Mayapur, Dwarka, Jagannath Puri? These are all transcendental items, right? But still the taste is there. If we read the story of Mahaprasad, Narad Muni got very little Mahaprasad from Lakshmi Ji, and he was ecstatic. And then when he came to Lord Shiva got Mahaprasad that was stuck between the nails of Narad Muni, just that much tiny particle. And he started dancing in ecstasy. This is the real effect of Mahaprasad, that how much prasad we have had. Kilos and kilos. And those who have been to Jagannath Puri, they really eat over there. But still the senses are not controlled. Still the taste for lower things are there. Why? So something wrong with Mahaprasad? No. Because our level is not there yet. That's all. We have to elevate ourselves. And everybody's speed is different. Everybody's stage is different. It takes long time. Very long time. It just we have to keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. That's chanting also. We have done so many rounds of chanting. But actually, we haven't done chanting. We just finish our rounds. We don't chant. With chanting, now the scripture says that one name of Krishna, if you chant properly, it can remove so many sins from all our previous lives, and from this life, that we even can't imagine to commit. Forget about committing those sins. We haven't even imagined to commit those sins. One name of Krishna can remove all those sins. Just one name. We've been chanting for so many years. It's just our situation is very different right now. That's all. I'm not trying to depress you or discourage you. It's just to understand our position, and we have to make advancement, no doubt, but we cannot imitate anybody else. That's all. We just take a humble position. Okay, this is my position. This is how I'll make progress. That's all. And we go from there. Of course, we try to follow whatever Prabhupada is saying. Give the higher taste. Give the higher taste. We try to give the higher taste. But the lower taste will remain. For a long time, it will remain. And later on, Prabhupada only says in one of the purpose, what can repression accomplish? Right? In one of the purposes, it says that in the translation. Oh, it's in the translation. What can repression accomplish? If you try to repress or suppress our desires, what it can accomplish? Nothing. Mind will go haywire that time, or it will retaliate for sure. So we just try to gradually make broadcast. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. He automatically loses. So slowly, slowly it will go away. It's okay. But our our viewpoint or our dealing with devotees should be on the basis of compassion, just like Srila Prabhupada did. What did Prabhupada do? In the beginning, all the hippies were coming to him when he was at 26 Second Avenue and other places also. And all the hippies would come, and Prabhupada did the initiation for them. At the time of after initiation, he said, by the way, you have to follow these 4 principles also and chant 16 rounds. In first initiation, they didn't even know all these restrictions. How compassionately Prabhupada dealt with them. Huh? 333. How compassionately Prabhupada dealt with them. The compassion is the one that makes one dear to Krishna and Prabhupada. Just like I think in one of the classes I gave this example. If suppose somebody is born physically handicapped, or he had an accident and he becomes physically handicapped, would we just discard him? Oh, you're no good for nothing. You cannot walk properly, so you cannot come with us. So just stay here, cry, whatever. Leave you here. No. It's automatically this compassion in the heart. No? If somebody is handicapped, we try to help him. Or if we can put him on a wheelchair, take him somewhere, we'll do that. Right? So similarly, if suppose somebody is mentally handicapped. Mentally handicapped means not just he cannot think straight, but there could be different degrees of intelligence. One student could be more intelligent, one is not. So what do we do? So discard the less intelligent students? Give them away? No. A teacher still teaches them. So similarly, one is spiritually handicapped. What do we do? We should just let him go? No. You're not fit for this moment. Get out of here. Because we all are pure devotees. You're not. What do we do? This is a movement only for pure devotees. Sorry, sir, you don't have that certificate. You can't come in. This is Prabhupada has said. He has created this hospital for the treatment. Somebody might take longer time. Somebody might take lesser time. So what? Who were all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? How Mahaprabhu dealt with all of them. How Prabhupada dealt with all his disciples. He didn't discard anybody. In fact, there's a wonderful story. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told that once in the class. There was one devotee and he was accountant in a temple. And he stole some money. So Prabhupada used to go to so many temples, so many places he visited. So Prabhupada came to that temple. And temple president had removed the devotee from his services. So that devotee came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he fell down at Prabhupada's lotus feet. And Prabhupada told the temple president to put him back in that service of accounting. Temple president, but Prabhupada, he stole money. He will steal again. Prabhupada said, it's okay. I want to give them chance again. So, if a Prabhupada's order, so he was again reinstated in that position. Again he stole money. Again temple president removed him. Again somehow Prabhupada came back to that temple. Again that accountant devotee went to Prabhupada crying. Prabhupada again called the temple president, reinstate him. Temple Prabhupada, he stole money twice. He'll do it again. Prabhupada said, okay, it's okay. And then Prabhupada told the devotee accountant that if you steal money again, I'll disown you. Okay, so that accountant said, okay, Prabhupada, I won't steal. And he left, temple president left. But Tamal Krish Maharaj was Prabhupada's secretary and he was with Prabhupada in the room. And he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, would you really disown him? Prabhupada said, no, I can't do that. That is just to show him that I will, but I will not disown. Prabhupada said, Lord Nityananda's mercy is unlimited and I'm just his servant. How can I disown anybody? And once one sannyasi disciple of Prabhupada, and he fell down, he became grasta. So Prabhupada, when he went to that city, Prabhupada called him. And Prabhupada asked him to come back to the movement, preach as a grasta. And that sannyasi disciple, he was very repentant and he, Prabhupada, I made a mistake, I fell down, whatever, it happens. But Prabhupada, have you forgiven me? So Prabhupada said, yes, you do the service as a preacher. And later on, Prabhupada told one of his servants that, see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord himself. He can do whatever he wants. But I'm a little servant and I need all the help I can get. So it was okay. He became Grasta. Still, he can come back and help me in preaching. So that was Prabhupada's mood. And this is how he spread the movement all over the world. So what should be our mood with the devotees? Okay, he's struggling, fine, so what? At least he's helpful, or she, whatever. It's not easy that we are going to become full-fledged, pure, advanced devotees and hopefully will become in one lifetime, but it's not even possible actually. So that doesn't mean we should not try for it. We should try. We should work very hard. But challenges are there still, it's okay. Challenges will always be there. Maya is very strong. Krishna himself said, Devi Yesha Gunamai Mam Maya Duratyaya. It's very difficult. You think Maya is easy to overcome? No way. So what? So this is what Prabhupada is writing. So when one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. So we have to become Krishna conscious and try work on it. This is a struggle, but it's a sweet struggle. We keep on working on it, keep on working. And one day it will happen. Slowly it will happen. Should we stop here? There are only 6:53 already. Ask anybody has any questions or should I take up another course? 7:30? Okay. Okay, text 60. Yatato hi api kaunteya purushasya vipashchita indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. The senses are so strong and impetuous, Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. This is what Krishna is saying. I'm not saying that. This is how strong the senses are. They forcibly carry away the mind of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Of course, that doesn't mean we don't try to control and we just go with the flow. That doesn't mean that. But anything can happen. On the way, anything can happen. Prabhupada gives the example of Vishwamitra Muni. A great sage and perfect yogi was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment, although yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yoga practice. Therefore, it's very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. See, every word Prabhupada didn't say without being Krishna conscious, but just half Krishna conscious. Fully Krishna conscious. Unless until we are fully Krishna conscious, very difficult to control the senses and mind. Not gonna happen. So without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot see such material engagements. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendently nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaj Ambarish also conquered a great yogi Durvasa Muni simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. So process is there, no doubt, and it's a perfect process that Prabhupada has given us. But it's a struggle for everybody. Everybody is at a different, as I said, stage, and it's a struggle. And everybody is struggling to make progress. That's all. And more one makes progress. Suppose somebody is in first grade. Of course, from his point of view, the exam is very difficult. And somebody is in 10th grade, the exam is very difficult for the 10th grader. But from the 10th grader point of view, the example first grader is just piece of cake. Right? So for one who is in 10th grade, his exam is more difficult. So more we make advancement, more difficult the exams will come. More difficult the test will come. Simple as that. Why? Maya has to make sure that we pass and we are qualified to go to next grade, 11th grade. If she gives the exam of first grader to a 10th grader student, what will happen? Nothing. He has to be tested in that level. No? So what? So we have to make advancement, but the test will be more and more severe. More advancement will be. So be ready for the tests. You don't even do Bhagavad Gita homework. This is a open book homework. Even that you don't do. Forget about the exams. When I ask for, when you know it's a time for discuss homework, then everybody disappears that day. There's hardly anybody in the class that day. And it hardly takes half an hour, 45 minutes to do that homework. I know that. But that's okay. So, next verse. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Again, controlling the senses, controlling the senses. One who has to be a yogi. Yogi means not just Hatha yogi, any yogi, one who is in trying to link his consciousness with the Supreme. First thing is control of the senses and mind. That is the first thing. So everywhere this thing Krishna is saying, one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control. How to keep them under control? If you give the higher taste. Give the higher taste. Give the higher taste. So process is there. But still, they're very strong. Senses are very, very strong. That the highest conception of yoga, perfection, is Krishna consciousness, is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given as a blazing fire burns everything within a room. Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. Yes, Mahaprabhu also said, Cheto Darpan Marjanam happens with Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. It will definitely happen. It is possible. But first of all, we have to chant properly. Secondly, we have to not commit offenses while doing our services. We commit offenses, definitely we'll go down again. Of course, whatever bhakti we have done, it remains, but our progress can be hampered very seriously. Very seriously. So, bhakti is like walking on a razor's edge. We have to be very careful. End result is very nice. While making progress, it feels very nice. It's very good. But one has to be very careful. That's all. Even in purport or words, it comes now. Even there are chances of accidents on royal roads. Even on royal roads, accidents can happen. So one has to be very careful. First, try to control the senses. Try to engage the senses in Krishna consciousness, Krishna service. And then secondly, not commit offenses. And then one's progress is guaranteed. It's smooth. Prabhu's question is, when we judge devotees, are we committing offenses? Yes. The thing is, we can only judge or have anything to say to others if we are his authority, or we have that relationship with him that he will listen, not getting offended, without getting offended. So yes, we can commit offenses by mind. And by mind, if we do, of course, in Kali Yuga, mind is considered, mental offenses are not taken that seriously, but they'll translate into action or words later on. It's done. Or these days, even if we don't say it, we put it on Facebook and WhatsApp. That's also considered words. That's why one of our gurus in the movement, Vaisheshika Prabhu, who's known for book distribution in all over the world, so he tells his disciples at the time of initiation, I mean, so many things we have to follow now. And he says, one more thing, you're not going to write or read anything on the internet that is not beneficial for you. Because 4 principles are there now. But he said this will make it the 5th principle. It is important. It's important for our bhakti. If we indulge in all these things, our bhakti will stop. That's all. Should we go to the next verse? Okay, next verse. Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa Sangaste Shubhjayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Abhijayate. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. So lust actually is to enjoy ourselves. That's all. in these day and age, lust means something related to sex enjoyment. But according to scriptures, any senses we want to enjoy ourselves, that is lust. So this is a verse for all the marketing people. Why? While contemplating the objects of the senses, so they display the product so nicely. So they develop this inside the people. They start contemplating on that object of the senses. So what happens? A person develops attachment for them. They display the product so nicely, the car or the phone or anything else. They display it so nicely. There's a attachment. We want to enjoy. I want to have it. I'm trying to get the cable. Low battery. Yeah, it's there. I hope it's there. It's not in the other bag. I hope. So we develop attachment for them. And then from such attachment, lust means very strong attachment. I have to have it. So earlier it was, I want to have it. Now then it becomes, I have to have it. I cannot live without it. And when that lust is not fulfilled, or if I didn't get that object, then the anger arises. I become angry. I think I kept it in the other bag. I still have 10%. One who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the objects of the senses. The senses require real engagement, and if they are not engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. So this is the job of Maya. This shows us. Take this, enjoy that. But then slowly we develop attachment for them and desire to enjoy them. So Prabhupada is writing the last lines. One who is not, therefore, in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail. For the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his senses. And if the senses are not gratified, then he becomes angry. Simple as that. And then what happens? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramaha, smriti bhrinchad buddhi nasho, buddhi nashad pranashyati. From anger, complete delusion arises. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. One falls down again into the material pool when intelligence is lost. So this is what happens. It starts with contemplating the objects of the senses. So that's why this Prabhupada, what the process he has given of service in Krishna consciousness, it's very important. It's very, very important. So we keep on serving, we keep on chanting, keep on reading, keep on doing other activities in bhakti. Then slowly the taste goes away. Otherwise, it will remain. The taste will remain, and we'll again do those things. But then again, okay, fell down, fine. Again, get up, get on the passenger train again. No problem. There's no problem. The impersonalist therefore cannot enjoy life due to his artificial renunciation. And for this reason, a slight agitation of the mind pulls him down again into the pool of material existence. It is said that such a soul, even though rising up to the point of liberation, falls down again due to his not having support in bhakti. So the impersonalist cannot have proper position, proper stage of liberation or proper support because he is not supported by bhakti. He's trying to control on his own, which is very, very, very difficult. Either I switch to iPhone. It's 9%, so it's okay. So any questions from the online audience, or should we go further?
Go further, Prabhuji.
We might finish the whole chapter then. Yeah. So text 64. Rag dvesh vimuktastu vishyan indriyascharan atmavashyar vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Although the person in Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment and detachment. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have done for his own satisfaction. So again, process is to control the senses. And Krishna uses this word through regulative principles of freedom. By means I control my freedom, the choices which I would have done otherwise, and still keep on engaging in service of Krishna. Slowly, it will happen. That's a proper writing. Although the person may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment. He will purify. He will get purified. Prasade sarva dukkha nam hane rasyopajayate prasana chetaso hiyashu buddhi parivatishtite. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. So one who is satisfied in bhakti, then the threefold miseries, adidevik, adibhautik, and adhyatmic miseries, they don't exist anymore. Because he is free, he is above that bodily plane. These miseries are only for the body and the mind, nothing to do with the soul. So he is fully happy, he is completely satisfied. So these miseries don't exist. And then Krishna says, Nasti buddhira yuktasya na cha yuktasya bhavana na cha bhavyata ashantir ashantasya kuta sukham. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So for peace or shanti, one has to come to level of Krishna consciousness. One has to be connected with the Supreme. That's the only way one can have peace. Peace means the senses won't be disturbing him anymore. That's the real peace. Not we take this peace march or do whatever peace movement, or in like Gayatri Mantra they say, no, that Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu, whatever. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Of course, that at least the desire is good. At least the people who are doing this yagya, they're asking for peace. They're hoping peace will be bestowed upon everybody. But it's inside us. If the senses are agitated, person cannot be at peace. He will be in pieces. He will not be at peace. He will not be in one piece. So the best thing is bhakti. Then only he can be at peace. Yes, bro. See, Prabhupada uses the word Krishna consciousness, but the real word is one is not connected with the Supreme. So one can be connected in any way. In Christianity also they're connected. In Islam also they're connected. In impersonalists also connected in their own way. To Brahm Jyoti they're connected, but this is supreme for them. That is okay. Prabhupada is writing in Krishna consciousness, he knows the ultimate thing. That's all. And he wants to give us the ultimate thing. It's about the connection. And it's about controlling the mind and the senses. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace. So Krishna, like in Bhagavatam, this verse comes now. Bhagwan has three aspects: Brahmjyoti, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So one who knows Krishna, he knows all the other two aspects. So Krishna means his other aspects also. So they will be at peace. But if they are properly connected. Text 67. Indriyanam hi charitam yanmano anuvidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayur navam evambhasi. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Even one of the senses, one of the roaming senses. Unless all of the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. Of course, this is not to scare us, it's just to warn us that senses are so strong. And Krishna has given the example of boat on the water. Means it has no strong foundation, no strong anchor. So it's very difficult to control a boat on water, to keep him in, to keep him from going here and there. No, Harinath Prabhu's mic is on.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just muting.
Yeah. It's okay. 7%. So next verse. Tasmadyasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvasha indriyani indriyarthe abhyas tasya pragya pratisthita. Therefore, mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. One can curb the forces of sense gratification only by means of Krishna consciousness or engaging all the senses in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is a process to engage, again and again engage your senses in service of Krishna. Otherwise, it's very difficult to control the senses. And next verse, we discussed this verse in Bhagavatam the other day. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashito mune. What is night for all beings is a time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So actually it means is activities of the introspective stage or the thoughtful men are night for persons materially absorbed. So whatever materialistic people enjoys, whatever subject matters they enjoy in, for the sage it's of no value. They don't enjoy it. But again, materialistic people means karmis, right? The real word is karmis. So many times I have seen, or like in Dallas where we joined, they used to refer, all the devotees in the temple, they used to refer to all the congregation people as karmis. Oh, they are all karmis. Well, then again, it's a wrong way of saying things. The congregation devotee, everybody is struggling. If Prabhupada tells anybody a karmi, it's understood. He is on a different level. We cannot call others karmis because we ourselves are karmis actually. We haven't reached that ultimate stage of devotional service. So of course, we also engage in many activities, but again, depending upon the consciousness. We spend so much time at work, meeting people, discussing different topics other than bhakti. The idea is in the morning before going to work, if we immunize ourselves by chanting, by taking prasadam, so we'll not get affected. But there is no guarantee that if a person is sitting in the temple, even if he's a full-time devotee, his mind is not going to other things. There's no guarantee. He could be doing the deity worship right in front of Radha Parthasarthi. I'm not saying everybody is like that. That's not what I'm saying. He could be. But his mind could be thinking of so many other things. Oh, I have to take my son to the school. We have to do this shopping for the son. He has to go to new school session is starting or whatever. And he's doing deity worship right in front of the Lord. It's very difficult. Actually, what I'm trying to say, it's very, very difficult to control the senses. And so it's not okay to just name somebody is not a devotee or is a devotee, whatever. Everybody is struggling. That's all. So we have to help each other in making progress. The more we help each other, more Prabhupada will help us to make progress. आपूर्यमाणमचल प्रतिष्ठम समुद्रम आपः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिम् आपनोति न कामकामी. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. As long as one has a material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. This is Prabhupada's words, not mine. So if you all have a spiritual body, it's a different story. But as long as you have a material body, not just you, we, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. That is a proof of Krishna conscious man, that one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present. So desires will always be there. The inclination or taste, it depends on us, how much we have made progress. That's all. So we can get down from the train to eat some samosa, to drink some chai or limca or whatever. As soon as that is finished, just get on the train. That's all. It's simple as that. No, it's a person. You can run and catch up. It's a passenger train. But you cannot miss the train. No? Next 10,000 years, the train will be there. That's mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Huh? Long train. Vihai kamanya sarvani puma sharati nispriha nirmamo nirahankara sa shantim adhigacchati. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain peace. So, with everybody, good luck. Look at the standard that Krishna is giving. Given up all desires for sense gratification, lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship. Wow. And is devoid of false ego. So it looks like in the practical world only a stone or rock can do this. To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna consciousness. Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness. So desires will be there. We have to just change the course of those desires. Slowly, slowly it will happen. Arjun did not want to fight for his own sense gratification, satisfaction, but when he became fully Krishna conscious, he fought because Krishna wanted him to fight. So Arjun also fought, but he fought for the pleasure of Krishna. Real desirelessness is desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desires. So Prabhupada gives the practical way of approaching it. So the last words, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Parthanenam Prapya Vimuyati Sthitva Syam Antakale Api Brahma Nirvanam Richati. That is a way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Means no material desires. One can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second. Prabhupada is writing, I'm not saying. Or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It's only a matter of understanding and accepting the facts. And Prabhupada gives the example of Khatwang Maharaj. He attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna. So all we have to do is surrender. I wish it was that easy. Ego is there, desires are there, everything is there, sense of proprietorship is there. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Just be on the passenger train, we'll be fine. Okay, so we should stop here. See anybody has any question or comments? So there we finished the second chapter today. Finally. Yes, Amen. It's a matter of understanding and accepting the fact that we have to surrender. But that I'm adding. Okay. So yes, sense control has to be there. We have to try to control our desires. But let it be gradual. Let it happen slowly, slowly. So, any questions or comments? Comments? Any comments? Rajiv Prabhu? Any from the buddy from the online? Subbu Prabhu, we need comments from you. We need expert comments from you. You're such a learned man, so you should tell me.
After these slokas, I think we'll all be dumbstruck. There's nothing, nothing to comment.
Okay, so I guess everybody agrees. And then I can send the homework today. We finish the second chapter. Second chapter homework is due now. So I think next Saturday nobody will be here in the class.
But Prabhuji, just one question before we sign off. These last 6, 7, or 8 shlokas, was it? I mean, looking at the shlokas, it looks like Krishna is talking about the difficulty of practicing jnana, the difficulty of perils of being a jnana yogi. One who is controlling his senses rather than channelizing it into bhakti or devotion. So, is he not referring to the perils of in at least Kali Yuga, not in maybe Treta Yuga or Krita Yuga, where you had all jnana yogis were very common. But in this Kali Yuga, is he not saying that in spite of you try to control, it's impossible to control even if you attain the highest of,
Yeah.
the intellect.
Indirectly, he is trying to say that not just Gyan Yogi, but Hatha Yogi also. Only for Bhakti Yogi it's possible.
Right.
Yeah. And Prabhupada, in his purpose, he hammers this point right away.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, thank you, Prabhu. So, thank you all very much. It's been a wonderful class today. Little long, but we had good discussion. So, see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.